There's a version of you the world sees, and then there's a version of you that shows up when the lights are off, when your kids are asleep, when your partner's in the other room, when no one's asking you for anything, but you still don't know how to rest. Today's guest is a man who's lived both of those lives. Cash Lansky, rapper, artist, husband, father of four. He's toured the country, dropped album after album, built a name. But in this conversation, I don't really want to talk about music. I want to talk about who Cash is behind that. We're going to talk about fatherhood, partnership, identity, and legacy, and the pressure that comes with being someone others depend on, even when you're still figuring it out yourself. Welcome back to the Wiggle Room. Let's get into it. Cash, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
Hey, bro.
What's going on?
I appreciate you for being here, man.
No, man, I appreciate you having me. Before we start, man, I gotta like salute you, brother. Like, this is beautiful what you created, cultivated, and just seeing your growth from an artist into this, super dope, bro. Salute to you on that.
That's love, man. Appreciate you.
Already,
Thank you. Shit, today's the beginning of tourist season.
Yeah, you hit me with that. I didn't know that.
There's a lot of tourist energy in the room. Julio's actually a tourist too.
I know that.
So yeah. This one should be special. But yeah, man. So I want to talk about, like, obviously everybody knows who you are, but I feel like people don't really know who you are underneath this persona, right? And so I want to start where most conversations don't, not about your music, not about your career, but like before all of that, who you were, like when nobody knew your name, whenever it was just you and whatever pressure or pain you were dealing with, like who was that version of you?
You know, I had to pretty much grow up real fast, man. Real fast. I grew up a single parent household with my mom, brother and sister. And I feel like I learned a lot of adult lessons as a kid. Almost, it was a gift and a curse. So it allowed me to understand life a lot faster than a lot of other people that were around me. And it was kind of weird because it also kept me separated, because I felt like a lot of stuff people were doing were kind of, I don't want to say beneath me, but it was just like, yo, I passed that already. And I remember, 13, 14 years old doing stuff, and my mom being like, yo, you better chill out, because when you get older, you ain't gonna have nothing to do because you're doing all of these things already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm running the streets already. I'm going to the clubs already. This is 13, 14 years old living in Alaska, bro. And it's like, I'm being exposed to a lot of things that a lot of kids probably shouldn't see at that age. But to my benefit, I was always, I've always been a leader, but I've always followed great leaders, if that makes sense. I don't think I've ever been a dummy. I think I had people around me that made me aware of my surroundings and made me cautious of my actions that I took. So just taking it back to that, to growing up part, like, our neighborhood was filled with a lot of drug dealers, but good people. That's what they did, is they hustle. So even though they sold drugs, they weren't bad people in my eyes. You know what I mean? This is just how they hustled. And this is how we were brought up to. If you're going to get it, you're going to go get it, because your mom's working 2 jobs. She can't afford all the nice things. So how are you going to get it? You going to go to school looking like a bum, or you going to go out here and get it yourself? And a part of me was intrigued by that life. You know what I mean? My mom didn't raise me like that, but a part of me was just like, well, this is what the homies is doing. This is what family's doing. I'm finna go out here and try to get it as much as I can. But I also knew that it wasn't for me. So it was almost like teetering the fence of, let me do this, let me do that. And I realized, a lot of stuff wasn't for me the way things would happen. Like, I would see people get locked up, people get killed. And for some odd reason, I would never be in these spots, but like I could have been in these spots. And, I feel like the universe works in mysterious ways, brother. Like, I always tell people skating, roller skating, like saved my life many of times of going to the roller skating rink instead of going here. And these dudes get locked up and got to go do 13 years, or going roller skating this week and this dude get killed. Certain things just, man, I don't know what it is, brother. And I think we were kind of talking about it before. It's like those divine interventions, bro. I feel like happen a lot in my life, and it's brought me to this point today. And being able to navigate through certain instances, I don't know, man. It's been a weird one for me, brother. Like I said, I've dodged a lot of things that I've easily could have been a part of, and and I think it plays to the sense of um the being of the person that I supposed to become. I was able to, like I said, navigate through all of these little I'm trying to
Situations.
yeah, but it's like those situations easily could have been me, man.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
God has, like, I'm a firm believer in God, higher power, has been like, nah, that ain't it. That ain't for you. This ain't it. And I've always listened to my intuition. Um, as a kid, man, like, I don't know what it is, and I think it's something that my grandmother has instilled in me or passed down through generations, because my grandmother's like that too. Um, of listening to my intuition and telling me, like, I get these weird feelings, like if I'm not in the place that I'm supposed to be, because I get like, I guess it's like uh what is it called, deja vu is
Mm-hmm.
what people call it. If I don't get these deja vu feelings in life, it wears me out, because I'll be like, I'm not supposed to be right here in life, I should be somewhere else. Or I'll be riding and it'll click, this is where I'm supposed to be in life, and I'll be like, all right, cool. Like, it gives me like this subtle feeling, like, because I feel like um I have this gift that God has been able to give me to be able to navigate through this thing we call life, man.
Yeah, man. I can relate to your story about not being in those places or being protected. Like, there's very similar to you. There's, I mean, I'm sure you can. How many of your people have been locked up
Yeah,
or beat up or in or dead or whatever, right? Or in prison because of certain things. I mean, there's a story growing up where there's like four of my close friends growing up. They went and they robbed some people, and I very well could have been with them, and it changed the dynamic of their life.
absolutely.
And for some reason, I wasn't there, right? And there's countless other stories, I'm sure, just like you mentioned.
Absolutely.
And I always think about that. I'm like, what is it? Like, there's a certain type of protection
Yeah.
that hovers over you, I guess. It just doesn't place you in those things. And it's like, you kind of, like you said, like, you just know you're not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And it's not like somebody's even telling you, because everybody's telling you should be there.
For sure.
Like, yo,
Like,
why
that's
aren't you
what
here? Like, who,
yeah,
like,
you missing
you're not
out.
pulling up?
Yeah. It's like, nah.
Um, that's interesting. It's interesting. It's just it's a form of protection that I'm still trying to figure out. Sounds like you still trying to figure out, but it's the intuition that you trust
Yeah.
and you
And
just follow it.
I've never went against that intuition, bro. Never. And I feel like if I ever have, it would have definitely changed the path of who I am today. Just not listening. Like, I'm talking about milliseconds of not listening, bro. Leave somewhere, place gets shot up. It's like, dang, I was literally just right there.
Crazy.
Like,
Divine timing, I guess they
yeah,
call it,
man,
right?
absolutely, bro. And I believe in that full heartedly. Like, I'm such a firm believer in intuition, man.
You mentioned something about listening to yourself, because I think the younger we are, majority of us don't know how to do it. But I
Mm.
think the older you get, you become more aware to it. Like, I'm definitely waking up to it now. We talked about it. What do you think happens? What do you think changed in you when you started, like, listening to yourself? When you
I know exactly when it happened, bro. So, like I said, man, I was kind of running the streets early, but I wasn't a bad kid though. You know what I mean? Real respectable, real manners. Like, my grandma, know, my mom taught me very well. but it was just the environment that we were in. And one thing about me, bro, like when it came to schoolwork, like I'm terrible. I was terrible at schoolwork, but I wasn't a bad kid. I just wouldn't do the work, or I would do the homework and not turn it in. Like I'll have a backpack full of semester of homework, and my mom be like, "I seen him do the homework. Where's the homework at?" And they go get my backpack, and all the homework be in there. My teacher's like, "Yo, why didn't you turn it in?" And I had no excuse of why I just didn't do it, but I did the work, which was weird. But I was terrible like at homework, bro. So my mom, like, I think for two reasons. My mom grounded me a lot. I stayed in my room a lot, bro. And I think one was to punish me for my actions. Two was she knew if I was on punishment, I was in my room, I was safe. I wasn't out here running the streets. I didn't stress her out. You know what I mean? She didn't have to worry about it. But when I was grounded, that's when I started listening to myself, because my mom knew, take the TV away. If I take his music away, bro, like I had to like sit with myself early. Like I'm talking about, I was grounded a lot, bro, for schoolwork. And that's where I started listening to myself, because I ain't have shit else to do. Like it was read books, read magazines. I'm taking apart Sega Genesis. Like I'm taking apart my CD player because I can't listen to it. My mom not allowing me to. And it was just being in my head and understanding, hey, there's something in there that's like keeping you company. You know what I mean? And I was just like, it might sound crazy, but that's when I started listening to myself, was at that time, bro.
How old do you think you were?
Probably, so I was probably about 13, because I took my mom's car one day. I didn't, but bro, like I was literally riding in the parking lot.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
go,
But it was just something to do, bro.
And
You wanted to press on the gas a
called
little
my
bit.
mom, and I remember pulling back up, like I think it was me and my little brother, and I was riding around the parking lot, and I pulled up, and we used to live like in the lower level, and I looked at my window, I seen my mom looking at her like, shh. So it's about 13, because I got in trouble. I was supposed to get, because I was turning 14. I was supposed to get my permit. And she didn't let me get it on time because I was grounded. I think I was grounded for about a good 6 months, bro.
Damn, bro. That grounded shit used to be the worst,
Oh,
man.
it's the worst, man. It was
Take
worse.
away your music.
My mom knew exactly what to do too.
Honestly, though, if you think about it, like I think when our parents ground us, they're teaching us something that they don't even realize they're teaching us,
Absolutely.
and that's learning how to be with ourselves.
Yeah.
Like learning how to be with your feelings and your thoughts, like that. And that just hit me right now in this moment. Like that's actually, it's kind of crazy to like take everything away from you, and at that age you're just so attached. You're attached to everything.
Yeah.
And it's actually really crazy. They're really kind of teaching you subconsciously how to be with yourself, how to be with your feelings. And you said that.
Yeah. I don't think that was their intention.
No, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't. But if you think about how much of a gift that is, though, really,
absolutely.
Because if you can learn, kind of like how you said, like, yo, I had to learn how to just be with myself.
Yeah. I had to learn how to how do you be with yourself when you hear all the kids in the neighborhood, like literally right outside of your window, just playing, and they doing everything that you want to do? You have to learn how to cut that off. And I think that's where a lot of people who don't get grounded or haven't been on punishment like that, they have these, what's it called? FOMO, the fear of missing out. I don't have the fear of missing out. Like, I feel like ain't nothing cracking if I'm not there. Like, and it stems from that. I had to learn how to cut that off. So like, I know how to sacrifice though. That's no problem. And it's all stems from that, bro. It's being grounded and being with myself.
Man, what a gift. What a gift. Like as a parent, this might be a good reflection for you now.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
You know what I mean? To be like, I'm grounding you to take away from you, but actually I'm really grounding with you to give you a bigger gift in life, to learn how to be with yourself. Because I think most people, all of us, like when things don't go your way, when you have that rejection, or you feel you're missing out, we want to react. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm sure you've seen it with your kids, where you ground them and they throw a temper tantrum or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or maybe when they were younger, or they're mad, or they yell, or they cry because they don't know how to be with that. But that is actually teaching you kind of how to do it.
Yeah. I mean, if you learn it young, then you don't have to be taught as you get older.
And,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I think that, Like my kid, like even though I went through that, my kids they're raised a little different. The
Right.
times are a little different. I'm a different parent than my mom was. My mom kind of, our household was I don't want to say a stressful environment, but it was always we lived in survivor mode. Everything, like month to month. If my mom was gonna make the rent for this month, like it was always survival mode. So my mom almost didn't have that luxury of not being able to just kind of chill in a sense. So I think that's my kids have it a little different. Um, I've been able to, with my wife, been able to create an environment for my kids where they don't have to be adults at a young age. I try to have them be kids as long as they can, bro. Like I don't want them to grow up too fast, but I also want them to learn these lessons in life. But their environment doesn't call for them to learn these type of lessons that I had to learn. So it's a different dynamic. But like I said, they don't have to live. They're not stressed, bro. So it's funny when they come to me about certain things, and I'd be like, "Is that really a stress?" Like, but I have to understand where they're coming from as well, because to them it is a stress. So that feeling is valid. And I've learned that with them. They've taught me that.
That's dope that you're able to have that empathy.
Hmm.
And I think that allows for a deeper connection with your kids.
I didn't get empathy until my wife and having kids.
So that's an interesting perspective. What about that situation taught you empathy?
uh, the lack of having emotion made me not care about how others felt, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Do you think growing up in survival mode
Yeah,
is what tied to that?
absolutely. Because you're taught not to have no emotions. You get hurt, shut up. What are you crying for? I'll give you something to cry for. And like those things are
Yeah, yeah.
like detrimental into your adult life. Like especially if that's how you're raised, everybody around you is raised exactly like that. It Once you meet somebody who's empathetic or feel everything, all emotions, you're like, yo, like what are you taught? Like,
Almost like, what's wrong with you?
yeah.
Why are you so soft?
And me and my wife are completely opposite. And she was the one that was just like, yo, like, how come you don't have any feelings? I was like, well, you're not supposed to. Like, we're not built off of feelings. Like, feelings will get you in a situation, like
Friends will get you beat up,
everything. Feelings will get you killed.
straight
Like,
up.
and we weren't raised like that. But as I'm trying to um uh love this, at the time, girl, she's a woman now, but at this time we're like, me and my wife been together since we were 17, 18 years old. We're still kids, bro. And we're trying to like combine worlds. Here I am, like I feel like I've been raising kids since I was 7 years old, and she's green. She's great. And we come together in the world, and I'm like, oh, you don't know this. Like, because she didn't have to learn. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't a part of her world. But me, I'm like, yo, you should know this already. You should, and reality, no, the hell she shouldn't. Like she should not know this. Like,
Right. You're 17 years old.
yeah, so I'm trying to hold her to the standard that she shouldn't be held at. But in the same time, that causes frustrations on my part because I'm like, yo, you should. And learning how to kind of fall back from that and understanding not that how we was raised was wrong, but it doesn't make it correct today. Like, and I think that comes with growth. Like you're able to grow as a person. And bro, I full-fledged give all my growth to my kids and my wife when it comes to feelings. Like they taught me, like, it's okay. Like you can show those feelings to us. It's all right.
It's crazy, man. That was a deep perspective. I appreciate you sharing, and I think it's super important for people to hear. Like it's interesting how we don't, as men, we don't really learn to have empathy until we get in these relationships with women, especially like your bringing, right?
Yeah.
Like in your upbringing, especially I feel like in urban culture, right? Like we taught, we got like it's clowning on each other. Who can clown on each other hardest?
Yeah.
You know, who got the loudest ego in the room?
That makes you build callous.
That makes you build callous. Yeah, for real. Like who could be the biggest bully?
Yeah.
Like, right, all that things. And then you enter these relationships with women, and they're soft and they're gentle and they're loving, and all they want to do is love you.
That's
and
it.
all they want to do is be loved back. But when you're callous that way, to be like, oh no, I can't be soft. Like I can't tell you that you hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Because that makes me soft, and that's gonna get me tore up on the street.
For sure. And I think one of the deepest things when it comes to loving a woman is I never seen a man love my mom. So how was I supposed to portray that to my wife? Like in my head, as long as I'm paying bills and everything's good, like that's it.
That's where shit gets fucked up, though.
But it's deeper than that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I understand, but I'm saying,
but that's like I said, man, I've never seen a man love my mom correctly. And maybe one, and even though like he had his flaws, but I think like he was the one that probably like out of everybody that in my life, he was the one that probably loved my mom the most. But even then, like it was still toxic. You know what I mean? It wasn't. I never seen any kind of man love a woman around us. Like growing up, my aunts, like they were all single, strong women. Like it was. I'm trying to think when was the first time I ever seen like, oh man, that's kind of what love is like.
Maybe seen somebody hold open the door for somebody or
like
something.
I mean, you get that, but like the definition of what love is, like dang, he like genuinely loves his wife. Like that's how you should do it. And even like that doesn't mean how they love theirs is how yours should be loved. But it's like there's a path to allow you to see it.
It's crazy too, and it's not like that was your fault.
No, not at all.
And I can relate to that. Like same thing with my parents' relationship, right? Like they split up real young, and it's like it's not really your fault.
Yeah.
But I think people will be like, oh, you don't know how to do this? Well, how am I supposed to know? Like, how are you supposed to speak a different language if you never learned that language?
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Excuse me.
What do you think? Man, because I like that. I want to talk about the empathy thing too. Like, what have you learned about empathy and how it changes connection for you?
I think what with empathy, I think. Let me see. How do I word this? So let's go back to learning like of who we are as a person. My mom happened to move us from Pittsburgh to Alaska without my dad's knowledge, right? And I remember her like telling me, yo, like we gonna do this move, but don't tell him. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make this happen, don't tell him. And I remember being like having this knowledge and not being able to tell my dad because my mom's like, don't say nothing. So it put me in this weird predicament, 6 years old, 7 years old.
Crazy.
And it's like, that's the first time that I ever felt the pressure that a kid should never have to be put into. I remember it vividly.
So now it's teaching you not to be honest.
In a sense. And I remember when he found out, he flipped.
Of course.
I mean, flip. But he didn't flip enough for him to be like, let me go back and get my kids.
Right.
It was almost like feelings. His feelings got hurt. And his feelings, like, I can't tell a man what he should do with his feelings. And I didn't understand this until I got older. And this is where empathy comes in. He made a choice to be like, all right, you want to take those kids by yourself? Have them. You raise him because his feelings was hurt.
He didn't know, and he didn't know how to tell anybody.
He didn't know how to tell anybody. He didn't know how to maneuver through those feelings because he probably wasn't taught how to do this. You know what I mean? And, you know, for years, bro, I hated him. Like, I remember I wrote him a letter when I was probably 16. I was vicious. And it's crazy because when we connected again, he told me, y'all still got your letters. And I was like, I can only imagine I can't even tell you exactly what I wrote in there, but I just know it was filled with hate. Like, it was just like, yo, like, how can you be a dad or a father, have kids, and you just dip? But it was his feelings. And like I said, I can't be mad at him on the way he chose to handle his feelings because that's the only way that he knows how. So when I had my first daughter, I connected with him. So I didn't see him for 14, 15 years. We talked here and there. And when we connected, I got to hear his side of the story. And I got to hear his homeboys tell me of how he was when we left. And it was just like, damn, I didn't even think that about you. Like, all I knew was this side of the story and not even try to get your side of the story. But his homeboys was like, yo, he was in bad shape for years. Like, we thought we were going to lose him.
Mm.
And I don't know if he ever went to go get help for it. I don't know. I just knew the other side. I finally got to hear the other side of the story and not just from him. You know what I mean? So it was just like the people around him gave me. And I feel like that's when I was just like another, that's when empathy started to like, oh, okay, that's what, because it's forgiveness in a sense. And like to this day, like I don't hold him as much as I hated him growing up. Man, I love that dude. I'll text him, yo, what's up, Pop? Like, but that was for me though. It wasn't that. The empathy is more for you than it is for the other person, is what I realized. And I feel like me having a kid, if I didn't have a kid and I would have my mindset would have been completely different. But that my daughter, opened up some kind of portal, some kind of love, something, my first daughter. And it allowed me to go in there with open eyes. Like, I remember I'd be like, yo, when I first see him, I'm firing on him. Like, I can't wait to meet him. We gonna fight. Like, he gonna get this fade. Like, I need that when I see him. Yeah. But when I seen him and just talking to him was just like, there's something that I missed here and I couldn't figure it out. And I think I spent 3 or 4 days and just seeing his homeboys talk about it. And I was just like,
I get it.
And then that opened up empathy at that moment with my kids, bro. Like,
damn.
It was just like, all right, I get it.
That's fire. That's a fucking beautiful story, bro. Yeah.
I've never told that story either.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that's incredible. I think, empathy is the art of understanding the other person's inner experience.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. And because I'm assuming because you had a daughter, it allowed you to have a perspective from a father's view.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right. Which is why you said that I don't know if I would have had that understanding unless I had my daughter.
Yeah. And then, I thought about it on my end. Like, what would I do if my wife did that with my kids at the time? My response will be completely different than his because I've experienced that. And I know the feeling that little kid felt, and my kids would never feel that. You know what I mean? His feelings overpowered of how we felt, how my brother felt, how my sister felt, but it stemmed from my mom. You know what I mean? And like I said, they're young too. Like, when you have kids young, you're still a kid trying to figure it out. And we think our parents have it figured out.
They do not.
Well, they do not.
We're learning in real time.
Yeah. And like my kids, my oldest, my 2 daughters, I think they're at the age now where they're like, how do you guys do this? How do you guys make this happen? How does, like, they're understanding it takes a lot for this machine that we're created to keep functioning, and they get it, and they realize, oh, you guys don't have it figured out. And I'm okay with that. Because my whole time I thought my mom had it figured out. Everything from each move, like, we moved a lot as a kid. And I didn't think like, oh, my mom is messing up. I just figured she had it figured out. She moving closer to her work. Like the way things went about, the way she handled things. Like I said, man, I never understood. I never knew we was poor until I went to one of my rich white friends from school's house. And was like, oh, this
Like,
how y'all living?
You're like, oh, y'all got gushers? Y'all got gushers? Y'all got Doritos in the pantry?
My
Oh, it's
mom
lit.
never made it seem like we was poor, bro. Like we might not have the money, but we didn't have a poor mentality.
That comes from your mom.
Yeah,
leadership,
absolutely.
right?
And my grandma, I salute them. Like they get all credit for that.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we getting good early here, huh?
Yeah, early. We started early, bro. Let's go.
When's the I want to transition a little bit. When's the first time you put something in a song that you were scared to say out loud?
Ooh. I think it was probably my dad's situation with my mom. Because I felt like, you know, in a sense, I've always had to protect my mom. And I feel like, you know, I never wanted anybody to look at my mom crazy for what she did. Because same thing. She's in her feelings. She don't know how to deal with things. All she know is just let me try to do, maybe this will work. And but to some people, like my aunts and stuff, or my uncles on my dad's side, they might hate my mom because of how they made their brother feel or anything like that. So there's two sides to that story, and I never wanted to put my mom into a negative light ever. You know what I mean? Because she's my superhero. I never put her in so I think the first time I put that into a song, I don't even know if that song really even like came out to the world, but like the homies listened to it and stuff like that. And I just got a couple feedback, and I was always worried that it might have made people look at my mom crazy. So I was just like, I don't know.
You don't want to put her in a vulnerable space.
Yeah, not at all, bro. Like, so I think that was like the first time, and that was like a weird feeling.
A vulnerable feeling.
Definitely. But I didn't see it as vulnerable. I guess because I didn't understand the vulnerability in it.
Right.
I was too young. I was just.
You're like, this just feels weird.
Yeah, like it just
feels uncomfortable.
I couldn't. It didn't have an emotion behind it. It was just like it's definitely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it was definitely vulnerability at a young age, and I wasn't ready for that at that time.
What did you ever have the conversation with your mom about like, hey, I talked to Pops, this is how it was? And
yeah, so you know, when I first connected with my dad, my mom was upset, bro.
Of course.
She was hot. She was mad. I mean, super mad. Like again, I can't blame her because that's her emotion, that's her feelings. That's what she doesn't know how to rationalize that any other way than how she's been taught. So yeah, she I don't think I've ever expressed to her completely his side of the story because I don't feel like it does anything today. Like if they needed to have the conversation, they would have that conversation.
Agree.
And same with him. Like I've never been like, yo, this was mom's reason, Pop, of why she did it. Because they had their reason and I wouldn't be able to explain it good enough for it to be a reason. To me, it would just be excuses on both sides. Right. So I've never tried to like cross that boundary with either of them.
I believe that you handled that right. Did you kind of express to her how you felt about all of it?
I don't think I've ever like really expressed to my mom she kind of knew, like she was there with me going through the emotions of, you know, the lack of having a father and looking for mentors or looking for people to look up to. She could see it. You know what I mean? She did her best to try to get me into like after school programs and just have me look up to other people other than the streets. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't think I've ever maybe like here and there, but nothing serious, bro. No sitting down like this and having a conversation. No, I don't think we ever done that.
I mean, it's tough, man.
Yeah, it's tough.
Especially with your parents, man, because there's stuff that I want to talk to my mom about.
Yeah,
and like
you can't.
You can, but it's just tough because I think you want to protect their feelings.
Exactly.
And it's also hard for you to tap in to bring those things up. You know what I mean? It's uncomfortable.
And then I'm a firm believer in, you know, you can never take back words that you say.
Facts.
And, you know, I never want to say anything that makes my mom feel like she was less than because of a feeling that I felt. So it's like the elephant in the room, but the elephant kind of left already. Like, it's like, why bring it up now? What purpose will it serve now?
If you were to tap into yourself and like just sit with yourself in that feeling and that thought, like, do you think you would feel tension? Like it would pull at you?
Right now?
Yeah.
Nah.
To
I let
say
it go.
something to her?
No, I let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't do anything. If anything, it'll cause more negative than it would do anything positive at this point. And it's like, why even
talk about it?
Yeah, like there ain't no point. Like,
yeah. No need to shake the
yeah,
tree.
and it's like, in my eyes, I turned out all right, man. You know what I mean? Like, if I had something that maybe I can like blame her for, like if I had maybe an addiction or I did like some wild stuff, and I could be like, well, this was because, but I feel like all that I went through made me who I am today, and I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through that. Like, I had to go through each one of those obstacles, each one of those emotions, each one of those feelings to be here today, to be able to just have this conversation with you.
It's a crazy thing, man. Life.
Yeah.
Life. So I want to talk about being married.
Okay.
You're married, and I think people really underestimate what it means to be a husband when you're trying to build something.
Mm-hmm.
What has marriage taught you about yourself that nothing else could?
Man. So I always say, in the marriage, if you don't have these 4 things, you're fucked. F-U-C-T, not K. F-U-C-T. You got to have forgiveness, understanding, compromise, and trust.
Mm.
And if you don't have those, you're fucked. And bro, I've been with my wife, what is this, 24 years this year?
It's a long time.
It's a
Congrats.
long time, brother.
It's a long time.
And she's taught me like she taught me a lot of things about myself that I didn't know. And I don't know if it was intentional. But she's definitely been like the person that's kind of made me become a better person. And I think a part of it was like I think it was, I don't know if, with her, if it was intentional. It was just us growing together and then trying to be better for one another in the sense of where we felt like where we lacked at. Like I said, she was the person that taught me about feelings. My wife is she's a big baby, bro. Big baby. And she hates it about herself, but I love it. And when she's like, "Oh, I don't want to complain about," I was like, "It's not complaining, it's more of a communication, just so I'm aware."
Yep.
Because the way my mind works, I don't think about certain things that she thinks about when it comes to feelings. I'm not based off of feelings. Even though like I'm open to it now, I'm not based off of it. And she'll feel a certain way about something that I would be like, why do you feel like that about? And then until she's explained it to me, and I'm like, oh, I can see why you would be upset. And just understanding her as a person has allowed me, I think, to just communicate with the outside world, with work. It has opened me up to be able to communication with friends.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a handful of people, maybe one hand that I can count on that I could, if I really needed to speak on my emotions or how I'm feeling, she's at the top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. To a T, like, guys are still programmed to not be able to be just all the way out there and I'm learning that. It's like, I'm a person that when it comes to doing, like, if I do something for you today, I don't want you to, I'll never bring it up later. And I'm so afraid of, if you do something for me, you'll bring it up later. Like, remember that time? And it's just like, well, did you do it for you or did you do it for me? Like, and I feel like emotions play in that part, same thing. So if I come to you and I confide to you with all my emotions, 100%, like, this is how I feel, this is this. If you ever brought that up to me later on in life, bro, it'd kill me. It would. But does it have to? Or would, like I said, when it comes to just saying things, words, bro, like in the heat of a moment of saying things, well, blah blah blah. Like if I came to you with these emotions and you ever said it to me, it would kill me, bro, because I was vulnerable with you in that state. And I've never witnessed that with my wife, and I'm like still on that thing, like, do I ever want that feeling? But I know that I never want to feel like that when it comes to, um I guess, is that vulnerability in a sense?
Oh, it's complete vulnerability.
Yeah.
What you're saying? So, are you saying that you won't fully tell your wife how you
No, like I can tell her to this. Okay, let me go back. So it's been being able to be built up to that moment, being together for 24 years, is I do feel comfortable enough with her. But when it comes to other people, like I said, the handful of people, I don't know if I could be 100 completely. She's probably the number
the only?
one.
Well, yeah, that's your
Yeah.
that's your wife.
Yeah.
What do you think the block is between you and everybody else?
Um, it could be seen as a weakness, like,
But it doesn't have to be though,
yeah, it
right?
doesn't have to be, but at the same time, it's like we was raised to what goes on in our house stays in our house. And I think that goes into feelings as well. Like if I'm feeling a certain way, like there's probably a handful of people that I might tell somewhat of my emotions to, but to be 100%, I don't think I could ever do it.
It's so weird that we're guarded that way though, because I think, and I've talked about this a lot. I think there is strength in vulnerability, man.
Absolutely.
I think it's way harder to tell somebody how you're truly feeling than it is to cover it up, because that's easy to be like, oh yeah, they did this and this, and I'm cool on it. And when really you're like, oh, I'm fucked up.
Yeah, there's been several moments where I've just been like in my head, bro. That was another reason of like stop smoking weed. It was me being in my head too much and me like almost in a depression state and feeling like you can't talk to nobody or say how you really, really feel. Because one thing, man, people like to talk.
Oh my God.
It's
Yep.
terrible. It's like I don't want to ever tell anybody something of my emotion of how I'm feeling, and then I hear it from somebody else. Like,
The game of telephone.
yeah, and that would trigger something in me that
It's betrayal.
is definitely betrayal, bro. And I don't like, I feel like I'm so loyal, like when it comes to certain things like that, like a brotherhood or just like as a friend, bro. Like I take that's a title that I wear, and I feel like I wear it well when it comes to somebody that I call my brother and my friend, family member. Like I don't play about any of that. So I am my father's son, right? And there are things that we fight that we have to keep deep down, and I feel like something like that betrayal would bring something out, would make me be out of character. So you never want, like, I never want to get to a place where I feel like I have to do something out of character because of betrayal. So that keeps me like in my own little bubble.
Mm. I understand completely what you're saying. So I think my opinion is that could kind of hinder you from receiving
Absolutely.
more.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And
I
because
agree.
I think the way, again, in my humble belief, is that the more open you are
Hmm.
to life, the more you receive. Right.
That's
So
good.
if you, and I think what you're speaking to is expectations too, right? I expect you to move,
I don't.
but it kind of sounds like it though, because you're like, if I do this, I expect them to move the same way that Cash would move, which is dude, we all live with expectations. That's why we get let down so much.
Yeah, but that I think that's my problem too, is I don't put expectations on people. I take people for where they were or who they are. Like, I don't put expectations on people. You're going to show me who you are regardless. I don't have to do anything for you to show me who you are.
What do you think would happen, or what do you think would be different about your connections or your relationships with people if you just chose to see the best in them? Which again, dude, with our upbringing, I get it.
Yes,
I
but
get it.
I always see the best in people until they show me different. Always. It's like those teachers. Everybody starts with an A. Everybody starts with an A.
Until you stop turning in the homework.
Until you start turning in the homework.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, bro. Like, you're gonna show me who you are regardless. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to say anything. You're gonna show me regardless. You know, my best friend Serrano, who passed away, that was like the greatest friend I've ever had in my life. So he set the bar kind of high when it came to friends,
right,
brotherhood, when it came to just anything. And I feel like me trying to hold everybody to that expectations I would just, like you said, I would just let myself down. So in that sense, I don't put an expectations on anybody at all.
So, because I'm just listening when you're like, all right, I don't put expectations, but I also don't trust everybody with my feelings. Mm-hmm. So, but I do see everybody. I do see everybody to the best of who they are.
Absolutely.
So my question is, where do you think the disconnection is?
Maybe the trust in people. I don't know. Yeah. I've never sat back and really thought about it. Like, I have and I haven't.
Yeah, because that's somebody who cares about you and who loves you and wants like you to experience life at the highest level.
For sure.
Not to say I got it right, because I definitely don't. I'm still learning. But these are the thoughts that I tell myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, what's going on? You say that you see these people for the best version of themselves, but then if you do, then you should fully trust them and you should fully be able, but again, it's old past conditioning. It's these things that come up that have maybe bit you before.
And it's listening to your intuition. Like I said, it goes back to that. And I haven't been wrong. That's like, it goes to like energy with people, bro. Like, I can slap a person's handshake and know off the back you ain't shit. Sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss.
Nah, you're good.
Just the energy. When our palms met, I could feel it. I can just like, and it hasn't let me down yet. So it's almost like I like going back, I have this gift that I feel like my grandmother has passed down to me, and I will not go against it. And like, I don't feel like it might hinder me when it comes to relationships and how I am. Because one of my homeboys, one of my good friends, man, he told me that. He's like, yo, like, nobody wants to be let down by you. And I'm like, why though? Because I don't put any expectations on people. He's like, yeah, but people think that you see them in a certain light. Well, I do see people in a certain light, but we all have our shortcomings. Like, I never judge a man off of their shortcomings, bro. I don't judge a man because they sin different than me. You know what I mean? Like, but I have to be well aware that I don't need to be friends with everybody. Everybody don't deserve that title. Everybody doesn't deserve that in. So everybody doesn't need to know your emotions.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I think you do got to be careful about who you share your space and your energy with, and who you allow into your life. And you know what I mean? It was just, I think it was the way that you had posed it before. I was like, that's interesting. You know what I mean? I wanted to challenge you a little bit because I deal with that too.
Yeah.
I want to stay on the topic of the marriage thing. How do you balance being a partner with a provider, a dreamer, and an artist? And does that ever feel like a weight that you don't know how to hold?
Sometimes. I think, I always tell my wife, like, I know for a fact when she's seen her dream man, it wasn't a rapper. For sure. She did not see that.
Right.
Future. You know what I mean? So I always apologize to her. But, I I think when it comes to, you know, when I first got started with it, I thought she might have just thought it was a
hobby.
hobby. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it'll come and it'll go.
He'll
Like
be
you
over
said.
there. He'll be over there soon.
Yeah. And then I think as I slowly started to progress into an artist, I think she kind of seen, oh, it's a little different than just a hobby. Did she agree with it? I don't think so. I think just over the years, bro, of us being together and me just being consistent with it, she she has come to terms with it. Like I said, I don't know if she agrees with it 100%. I think she likes that I create art, but I think she doesn't like the life that comes with the rapper. And I don't, you know, I don't blame her. It's, you see what the glitz and the glamour, and you know, it brings horrors and stuff like that. Like, but I feel like my purpose is higher than that. And I think with the music that I create, she sees it. Like, I'm not creating bitches, cars, money.
Right.
I'm not creating that type of music. So I feel like it brings in a different introspect into my music and just different fans. But I think this is years, bro. And like, it ain't always been perfect. But it's been consistent. And I think that's what has won her over to be like, oh, okay, he's really like, this is what he feels like he's supposed to do. And, you know, I always have to thank her for it, bro. Like I said, she did not see herself being a rapper when she was a 7-year-old girl thinking of her dream.
Do you think women are more selfless than men?
Yes. I believe selfless. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's fair to say. I'm
It's
in
fair to
alignment
say.
with that. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to, yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. I had to think about that one. Yeah, I think women deal with things way better than men when it comes to emotions.
hey man, they know how to be with themselves way better than men do.
Man,
I don't know if we're gonna get canceled for that, but shit,
I mean,
I believe
it's,
it's
you
true.
know, I feel like even like on heartbreak, bro, men don't take it well.
Bro,
Women are 10 times better. I don't know how they do it, but the women are 10 times better at dealing with heartbreak than men are, bro. Like, we're the worst, bro. And I don't know if that has to deal with ego. I don't know what that has to deal with, but it heartbreak hurt, bro.
Yeah.
It hurts. It hurts, bro.
Man, this is an interesting topic. I'm glad that we're going here because, yeah, I think one, women definitely deal with their emotions better than men.
Absolutely.
But two, the heartbreak thing, man, and I think there is ego tied in. Women have ego. We all have ego, but
Yeah.
something about a man's ego and when he loves a woman, because I think in order for a man to be vulnerable, if you haven't been taught how to be vulnerable, it takes a lot to pour yourself into a woman and take off that cape.
For
and
sure.
When you take off that cape for a woman and then you lose what you had and everything you poured yourself in, bro, it'll destroy you. Not to say it doesn't destroy women, because I know it does too. Yeah. But the way they're able to pick themselves up and rebuild themselves after heartbreak,
insane, bro. But I think that goes like, you know, a woman can have pretty much whoever she wants.
Yep.
They have that power. It's just in them. They have it. And us as guys, we kind of, you know, once a woman has chosen us, we like, that's everything. So then when she's like, nah, this ain't it. Like, what you mean? Like, or cheating, her talking to another man, or just anything, that shit crushes your whole world because you're all in. Like, even if they don't believe it, usually most men are all in when they're in a relationship. Like,
or at least they think they are.
They think they are.
On the surface level, right?
For sure.
Yeah, man, that's I had something I wanted to say to add to that, because it's just so interesting, the difference how a man acts when he's heartbroken as opposed to a woman. And the thing about a woman, when they're done, they're done.
They're done. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like men ain't done. They're like, act like them, but they'll come back. They'll come back. Sure. And we've all done. I'm like, oh, I'm done. Like, no, I'm gonna let slide. Let me come back.
She's done, bro.
Like, yeah, I'll come back and I'll I might hit a text a few months later and be like, you sure? Like, you sure you gonna like, or even years down the road, you'd be like, damn, I fucked that up.
Yeah.
You know?
And I never that was one thing with my wife, bro. I knew at a young age that I needed a wife and I needed kids. I needed that to be grounded to who I am, because I knew like if I didn't have that, I'd be a mess, bro. I'd be running this world like with a chicken like with his head cut off. And I needed that. And I knew early that my wife would be the one. Like if she wasn't the one, then I didn't want to do it with anybody else. I knew that early. Kids wise, like I knew I was only going to have kids with one lady. I wouldn't, it was just something that was embedded in me early, and I knew that I wanted that. So I knew that I was willing to go through every and anything with my wife when it came to just life in general. Like we're both growing with two worlds trying to make one. And we started off as kids. So it's like, how do you guys grow together without having your flaws? And that's the forgiveness part of it, and compromising your feelings for when that person feels a certain way and that person compromising their feelings for yours. It's like, I'd rather go through a million things with one woman, with one lady, than to go through
one thing with a million
with
women.
a million women.
Facts.
Bro. And I was like, I see people all the time be like, dang, goals. Oh, you guys are the perfect couple. That's what I want. No, y'all don't. Y'all don't want that. Y'all not built for that.
Man, honestly though, I think so. I think that is goals.
Yeah, but if you knew what went into it, most people would be like, yo, I'm out. I'm not what? I'm not.
But see, that is the goal.
Yeah.
That the goal isn't the end. The goal is to work through all the shit that y'all work through.
Yeah, but it's not
to
though,
be
because
at the
of
end
social
result.
media. Social media creates these false narratives.
Yeah.
And we only put up the highlights.
But what I'm saying is though, like if we get into this social media, like if we get into what the real goal is being able to work through all the shit that y'all work through.
Yeah, but most people don't want to put in that work. They just want what comes with it. That's I think people miss that part of it. They're like, dang, I want that. Oh, what, you want to take a cute picture? But you don't want to deal with heartbreak.
What you don't want to deal with what happened before that. You don't want to deal with the conversation that happened before, or the fight that we had, to get in the car to get to the picture.
For sure.
But honestly, that's the goal though. That's the goal. The goal is to be able to work through those things to hit the end result.
I think when it came, like even growing up, when I see my mom have arguments with her boyfriends, I felt like I never seen any resolution. It was always this peak of arguing, yelling, domestic violence, and then it was over with until the next time that it happened. I think the beauty of me and my wife have created for our kids is they see us arguing, but then they see us love each other after that. To be like, oh, okay, so arguments it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we figure out how to get back to good standings? Because I feel like, bro, in relationships, you fall in and out of love. It's a roller coaster. It is absolutely. Nobody loves each other. I feel like love is an action and not a feeling. I feel like
I like that. That's dope. Love is an action, not a feeling.
It is. I feel like you have to do what you need to do to love that person consistently. What made you do what you did to love that person at the beginning? How did you do it? Okay, cool. Let me get back to that, because you're going to fall out of love.
It's a practice.
You guys have see each other every day. I mean, you're going to do stuff that's going to bother your girl. It could be the smallest thing, bro. It could be
how you wash your body.
Yeah. As you didn't close the shower curtain back that day. And that's just one of those moments where things are kind of down right now. But it's like, how do we figure out? I think that's the beauty of me and my wife, and we've been able to figure out how to get back to these certain peaks, bro. Because it's always been through our whole relationship. But I wouldn't change it, bro. Like, It made us who we are today together.
It's your ability to choose each other.
Yeah. And stick there and stay there and be like, you know what? I'm not tapping out on you. You're not tapping out on me. Okay, let's figure this out. If you mad, like if you that mad, go in the other room. Like we'll figure this out one way or another.
That's the beauty of marriage, man. It's a practice, and it's a practice every day. I mean, I'm somebody who's failed at it. You're somebody who's successful at it, right?
But did you learn from it?
Man, so much.
So you
Yeah,
didn't
it changed
fail
my
at
life.
it. You
Yeah,
didn't fail at it. You learned from it.
that's true. Yeah, thank you for that.
For sure.
Yeah. It was a lesson. Definitely
Absolutely.
made me better. But yeah, I think it's like you said, it's that commitment, and you don't love each other every day. I like that. Love is an action, not a feeling. I gotta sit with that for a while because I think you do feel love. Like I do feel love in my heart when I think about my friends and my family. But you can also show love too,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Through through how you want to give it, but you
Mhm.
can also show it by how they want to receive it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to say I'm gonna like reflect on that for a while, probably after this.
Would you take love or loyalty?
Would I take love or loyalty? I'm gonna take love because if you have love, there should be loyalty.
I think I'd take loyalty.
Tell me why.
I just feel like if a person is loyal to you, you never have to worry about any kind of hidden agendas or anything. Love, like I said, love is an action. It's not a feeling. It's a person can love you one day and then set you up the next. With loyalty, you never have to worry about getting hurt.
So let's dive into that because I think there's different forms of love too, though. There's I love you unconditionally, like you love your kids,
Yeah.
like you love your wife.
Mhm.
But then there's also I love you conditionally, and without these things, I don't love you.
What's the conditionally love?
Lot is like okay, I love you because you buy me nice things,
Okay.
right? That's conditional love. I love you because you make me dinner every day. I love you because I like the way that you touch my back or whatever. And then when those things go away, I don't love you. That's loving
Yeah.
you conditionally.
I think, at least from my point, my love, regardless, is unconditionally. If I love you, I love you. There's no in between. There's nothing.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
There's nothing, and I think that's another part that plays into the trust part. Like, I don't know how to halfway love somebody. I don't know how to. I'm either all in with you or I'm not. I don't.
That's a Taurus thing, by the way.
It could be for sure. I don't know. There's no gray areas with me when it comes to love, when it comes to respect, when it comes to loyalty. Like, if I'm your friend, I'm really your friend. You'll never have to be like, yo, Cash is my friend, but he did this foul shit to me. I don't believe in that. I wasn't raised like that. And that's like, I picked that up like off the streets from people that I looked up to. I seen how they operated, and that taught me of how to be loyal. I feel like people don't know how to do that, bro. And I don't feel like people understand what comes with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I just feel like loyalty is inside. I feel like real, because think about it. Your love, what's inside of your love? Loyalty.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
For sure.
I get what you're saying. Like I think now, kind of like thinking about talk about love. I think it can be an action, but I think it's also a feeling. Like when I sit down to write somebody a message to tell them how grateful I am for them, I feel gratitude, but I also feel love. Have you felt love before?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
So I think it's both.
I need action when it comes to love.
Yeah. I mean, we want action. Like we want.
For sure.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. Like there's certain things. Like what's something your wife does that makes you feel love? She might
I
walk.
think Like my wife's presence make me feel love, bro.
Mm.
Just her being there. Like,
So that she makes you feel it.
yeah, but like it's an action though. It's her being there. It's like her being attentive to whatever I'm talking about, or just, you know,
I like that. That's dope. I think when you're speaking and somebody is attentive and they're totally tapped in and they're giving you 100% presence,
yeah,
that is
it is, bro.
because it's rare. Like I've been talking to people and shit. I'm a victim of this too. Sometimes people say something and I'm like, I'm three blocks down.
Bro, I feel so bad when I like
Yeah.
catch myself doing it, and it's like, did I not just care enough? Like, what was it? But
Right.
like, my wife will be saying something, and I'll hear, and she's like, "You weren't listening." I was like, "Yeah, I was," but when I'm talking to her, and she's like, she's just paying attention, just in it. I'm like, "Oh, you're the best!" Like,
Yeah,
I feel
straight
like I
up.
could take over the world with you just listening. You know what I mean? Because her presence, man, she just something about it.
Isn't it like obviously with everything that you do between music and family man and all that, like is it important for you to like feel like you can just come home at the end of the day and just like lay it all on your wife and just when I say like just take off that cape and just be like, yo.
Yeah, but I'm still working on that though. I can, if I'm being honest, I still work because I get in my head a lot, and that's just something that I think is just me as a person. Um, but she knows there's certain things that I do that she'll just kind of know, like, yo, what's up with you? Like, either I'm not talkative or I'm zoned out or something. And she's pretty good. Like, she probably has like a 95% accuracy rate when it's something's bothered me, and she can kind of be like, yo, and she'll kind of have to, it's instead of me just saying it, she'll kind of have to like fish it out. And I realize I get in my head a lot when I'm not doing something productive, if I'm not creating. Um, and she'll be like, "Yo, you ain't recorded this week,"
Mm,
and that's like,
mm.
she picked that up. She was the one that kind of like introduced me to it. Like, I didn't understand it at first, and then she said it one day, and I was like, "Damn, you kind of right. Like, I didn't record this week." And then I'll go write something, get in the studio, and knock something out, and feel 10 times better.
That's a dope thing about a good relationship. Well, it's not even a good relationship, any relationship. It's a mirror.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
mirror.
yeah. I remember I told her, so what I used to have this thing when if I created a project and I put the project out, after I released the project, bro, I would get depressed.
Because it's done now.
Yeah, but it was like, bro, like I didn't understand it though for the longest, but I would be depressed. As this project is out, people are loving it, I would be depressed. And I remember I explained it to her one day, and we were just randomly talking. I don't even know how I brought it up. And I was like, just speaking freely about the situation because I finally understood it. I had a good conversation with Runt about it. And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's like post album depression." And I was like, "Oh, it's a thing." Like, he's like, "Yeah, yeah, that's a big thing." He's like, "You literally giving your soul away, and you know it's out in the world." And I was like, "Ah." So once I understood it, I was telling her about it, and she was like, "Damn, that makes sense now." She was like, I never understood why you would get into these little moods." And it was at, she was like, "No, think about it. It was at certain parts and times when projects were released." And I was like, "Yeah." And I couldn't understand it. And this last project, Man in the House that I dropped, I didn't have it. But I
Mm,
think that's because I'm aware of it. And I
mm.
was able to be like, I'm not going into that frenzy once this is out. And it was the first time that I dropped a project and never had that feeling. But and I brought it up to her one day, and she was like, "You didn't, huh?" I was like, "No, I didn't, not this time." And it felt good, but that's just being aware of that.
Awareness. That should have changed your life. We talked a little
Absolutely,
bit about that before we got in here.
absolutely.
I just want to ask one more question on just as far as your marriage. What's a way that she's humbled you, but like in a good way?
Oh, um, Cash Lansky is nobody to her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Dominic to her.
Mm-hmm.
She don't care about fans. She don't care about streams. She don't care about none of that. She cares about how Dominic is going to treat her. And I think, you know, becoming an artist, you try to teeter that line of being this persona and being this and trying to bridge the world without having a collision. And it either you have this huge success. I talked to Merce about this one time. It was like when your career is going super good, your family life is trash. When your family life is super good, your career is trash. So it's like finding that balance of being an artist, but also making sure husband and father comes first. And I think they know that no matter what, they always come first before any before. I don't want to say my dream, because my dream is who makes me who I am every day. But in the realm of like rap world, they don't care about that. Even my kids, like, they're so used to me being in my studio creating songs and stuff like that. When the song comes out, they're like, yo, I've heard that song a million times already. Like, it's nothing to them. Like, I'm not Cash Lansky to them. I'm their dad. And it's funny because they'll go to school and one of their monitors or the assistant principal will be like, hey, is your dad Cash Lansky? And they'll be like, yo, like, it's weird, bro. They try to even keep it separate.
Right.
Like, they don't want anybody to try to treat them different because of who I am. And I think my wife really made me realize, like, I don't care about Cash Lansky. I need Dommy here. I need Dominic. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that has really, really like humbled me in a sense of keeping me grounded, bro. You know, like, you've been an artist. There's times where you're just popping, bro. You're popping.
Everybody know you.
Everybody
You
know
can't go
you.
outside
Yeah.
without somebody showing you love.
And then it's like, all right, what does that mean though? Like, when those lights are off, who are you?
Man, has there ever been a time when, and I'm sure there has, because I remember these moments where like you'll go to Rialto, you'll kill it. Everybody in the building knows your name. You got everybody's hands up. You like, yo, this is the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
And then the lights is off.
Yeah.
And you ride into the crib by yourself. And you like, I ain't shit.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, I dropped my Cool Table album. We did Hotel Congress. We sold out Hotel Congress. That was like
Which yeah, for somebody in your position, that's a
big.
big deal.
That's huge,
I don't
bro.
think probably nobody ever did that.
I don't think selling tickets wise.
No.
That was huge for me, bro. And we did that on a Friday. I had to go to work on Monday. And I got to work and I had this weak ass doctor yelling at me. And I was just like, bro, do you know I just had hundreds of people screaming my name? Like, who are you? But it humbles you, bro. Like, you almost need those moments, bro, to continue to grow, to let you know, like, bro, like 1 minute or something, the next minute you ain't shit. And I think that's the balance, bro. That's the beauty of balance, is not letting stuff go too far. You know what I mean? Like, it has to come back down. I remember another man. I've had several conversations with Runt from Driving Scientist. Shout out to him. When I first kind of came on the scene, I was popping, and we did a show in Phoenix. And on the way back, he was like, "Yo, like right now you bubbling, but when the lights is off, who are you? That's what matters." And I'll never forget that conversation, because that's always what's kept me humble. I've been able to continue to be an artist when the lights aren't on me. And that's a tough thing to do. You see artists come and go, bro, because they want the high the whole time. And they realize, like, once the high is gone, they're either afraid to try to get back there or they don't know how to get back there. And it's just, I think that's a humbling thing, bro. You've seen it, bro. You've seen people come and go. They're like popping, get it all. We made it. And then it's like reality sets in, and it's like, all right, well, what you gonna do now?
Yeah, I was one of them.
But
yeah.
But you had to go through those things to get to where we are
Oh
today.
yeah,
like,
no, and I think about it, and it's like, for me, it doesn't. At first, it hurt. At
Yeah.
first, it hurt, man. Like, because I think you're so unaware of your ego at that age, man.
For
When
sure.
you're like, bro, and I think back to how we were,
He had
bro.
the ego,
A
bro.
big one,
That shit
and
was huge.
oh my god, it was terrible. It was terrible.
I
It was
loved it,
terrible.
bro, because
It was terrible.
I always talk to Tommy Will about it. Same thing. When I first met Tommy, bro, Tommy's ego was huge, bro. I was like, yo, who is this superstar coming in here?
Terrible.
But we don't know no different.
It's just like when you think about it, like, because that's the thing always about you. You've always been humble. You've always been 100, like always been cool. And I'm like, Cash is popping. Like, why does he act like this? Like, what's his? My always thing was like, what's his ulterior motive? Like, there's an ulterior motive here,
bro. You know what? I get that a lot with people. They're like, yo, like that can't be you. And I'm like, but actually,
it is, bro. But see, and it's crazy because if more people would have saw that and adopted that, and you figured it out early. Like, I wish I would have figured it out that early, but I didn't. You know, and that's partially of what led to not going further, because that ego, you build that wall and you think that I'm superior to A, B, and C, when it's really like, hey, my boy, like, if you just let that wall down and let life get you what it's trying to give you, you're gonna receive more. But instead, you want to act like you're him, but you really not him. You him when there's 1,300 people on that Rialto, or like how y'all, when you sell out Hotel Congress on your own, like, you're him.
Yeah.
But as soon as the lights go off, and you got to go to the grocery store like everybody else got to go to the grocery store.
For sure.
And you got to cook for yourself and do your laundry just like everybody else. You're like, really not that.
Yeah. And it'll humble you. Like, I remember seeing y'all at South by Southwest.
Yeah.
That's when y'all was popping, bro.
We were.
Y'all was popping. And y'all had the I don't want to say the ego, but you guys had the persona of we own.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing that, like, dang, they like, y'all really was on to me in my eyes. Like, I seen even like the way Prince looked out for y'all. I thought that was beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
I remember Prince humbled me one time, bro. Humbled me. But and it was like, I always salute him for, it was like the Big Sean show. And we went down to Finally Made one time to give, I think we went to go, my homeboy was like, yo, let's go to Finally Made, man. We gonna ask them to put you on the show. And I'm like, I ain't got nothing to lose. You know what I mean? So I went down and we're talking with them, and Prince was like, yeah, like, nice to meet you. Like, I know who you are, Cash, blah, blah, blah. And my homeboy kept pushing the issue. And then Prince was like, hey, let me tell you something, man. He was like, Cash, you're good. Like, but he was like, I don't owe you anything. These are my homeboys that I'm putting on the show, and they got the spot, but I don't owe you anything. And I remember him saying that, and I just remember like, bro, you don't owe me. I don't deserve to be on that stage. Your homeboy, like, you're in the position to put your homeboys on there, as you should. Like, and I just remember that moment. Him, wow. I still to this day, I remember, like, I always salute him for that, bro. For him telling, like, I don't owe you anything. You absolutely right. You don't owe me shit, bro.
Prince is and that's crazy too, because Prince is he's a real laid back dude. But Prince is, I love Prince. Prince has been instrumental, not in just that, but like a lot of growth parts of my life.
That's tight. Yeah. He bro, quick. Hey, look, Cash, you good, but I don't owe you nothing. What's
the craziest story you got about like seeing like a big name artist? Like being on tour somewhere, or maybe like an interaction with like a big artist.
I don't know, bro. Like, I don't have any like crazy stories like that when it comes to like being on tour with artists. Like, I didn't want to seem like I was trying to ride anybody's coattails or anything. So when it came to like setting up merch or helping bring stuff in, like, I'm trying to do that part of it. Like, I'll be a worker bee, bro. I have no problem with that. So I'm not trying to like hang around them. Like, it's almost like I know my place wherever I go. I know my place, and I'm not trying to. Yeah, I don't think I got any like crazy stories, bro.
That's crazy.
Like, I probably do it if I like sat and like really thought about it, but just coming to just thinking about it, I don't have no crazy stories, bro. Like, I'm a firm believer in minding my business, man.
Yeah, straight up.
I'm absolutely, when it comes to stuff, and that's why you don't really hear nothing about me, because I mind my business, bro.
You do.
Like, I be out the way, You never gonna hear no he say, she say shit, Cash said. Like, I don't believe in it. And now it's because I was taught this young, bro. Early on. Like, I seen what could happen if a person tells somebody this and go back and tell that, and just the consequences that happen. Like, it's never good. It's like, so I've never been a fan of it.
I feel that. Mine would so Juice, right? We used to be affiliated with Juice, who was affiliated with Game, the whole Black Wall Street. Wiz Khalifa was on tour in Tucson at Rialto, and at that time, J Rock was opening up for Wiz Khalifa, or it might have been Tech Nine. He might have been opening up for Tech Nine because he was affiliated with Tech Nine for a little bit. And Juice was obviously close with them, and Kendrick, or at the time, K Dot was open for J Rock on that tour.
For sure.
And so Juice was close with all of them. So he was like, yo, pull up to the show, whatever. We go to the show. Then after, like, they had just performed. And then in the back, it was Juice, K Dot, who is now Kendrick, and Ali and I. And they was like, yo, let's go eat. So we all hopped in my whip. It was Juice, me, Kendrick, and Ali. And we go to the Del Taco right up there. I was
going to say, where did you take them to go eat?
I wasn't me. I was broke. I was broke. I was broke at the time. And Juice, I remember, bro, Kendrick just sitting in the back seat, like right over here. And he was quiet the whole time. Didn't say nothing. We put up to that Del Taco right by Rialto up. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And bro, he just was quiet the whole time. It just was like to himself. And
yeah, see, that's kind of how I am, man.
You are?
Yeah, I'm quiet, bro. I like being to myself. I like being with my thoughts.
Yeah.
I like listening more than I like talking.
I agree. Let's jump into dad life. So you got 4 kids, 2 older daughters, two younger boys. What's something they've taught you about yourself that hit harder than you expected?
Patience, understanding, and I think understanding that they're their own individual person. I think, I never play favorites for my kids, ever. I treat them all the same, but I treat them all accordingly because they all have a need that they need from me. And I think understanding that you can't treat all your kids exactly the same has been an eye opener for me. Because like I said, I know they all need something different from me. And I feel like each one of my kids have made me better as a man when they were born. So like my first daughter, she was the one who was like, okay, all the kid games put aside. My youngest daughter was, you bullshitting, you need to get it together. You're going to lose it all if you don't tap into this one. Like, you really got to step up. My son was, all right, you kind of got stuff figured out. You're in a good spot. You can either go here or you can go there. And my youngest son, man, just his birth alone, bro, like my wife went into labor 27 weeks. Her appendix ruptured.
What?
And he was in ICU forever. It was like 97 days, I think. She had surgery, and there was like, so how we're raised is how we respond to things.
Yep.
My mom had a lot of surgeries growing up, and whenever she had surgeries, the people around me always just kept life going. There wasn't no like stopping to like, oh, take care of your mom, or until we got older and we understood it. But as a youngster, it was like we stay at my aunt's house for 2 weeks, but life just kept going. My mom's recovering. My mom had surgery. We stayed with my grandma, but life just kept going. So that's all I knew. I didn't know the empathy and being supportive of trying to be that I probably should have been towards my wife. All I knew was somebody got to keep this ship afloat. We got 3 kids at the time. They got to do this. They got to do that. In my eyes, the baby's okay. You're okay. We'll be okay. My wife was like, if there's one time in our relationship that I felt like you weren't there, it was that.
Wow.
And I never understood it. But I'm like, my response is from what I know. Like, I felt like it was my job, my duty to just keep this family going. Like, we can't lose the house because you can't work, or you know what I mean? Like, somebody had to do it. And my wife was like, nope, I needed you by my side. And so that my son that his birth made me realize like how supportive we think we are, but we're not. And for a minute, it messed me up for a long time because I was like, "Yo, what are you talking about? Like I'm doing like we get in arguments about it." And I'd be like, "Yo, I'm doing my part. I'm doing this," and I'm still not understanding what she's talking about. And then one day, sitting by myself thinking about it, I was like, "Damn, you definitely could have done more on that support side of it. Not financial support, not taking care of these kids, more making her feel her, because she was going through a million emotions, bro.
She needed you to be present.
And I think one time we kind of got into it, and I had to apologize for it, bro. Like, I think in my song I say you have to learn to say you're sorry and not just say my bad. Because I feel like that's I'm sorry. I'm being accountable for my actions. My bad is just like, yeah, but you're
not accountable.
It's not accountable. And so I had to tell her I was sorry for it, bro. And like, it feels like you try to make up and be supportive now, for that missed opportunity, and you'll never be able to make that up for that opportunity. But now going forward, okay, this is what I need to do to be more supportive, present.
Man, that's a beautiful reflection. I can relate to that. And the thing about life, it's a moving sidewalk. So if you miss that opportunity, you'll have another opportunity to show up.
Yeah.
Hopefully not in that way, but they'll give you another way. And I think the way as men we think we're showing up may not be the way that other person needs us to show up.
Yeah.
Do you think you maybe subconsciously there was something with you in the hospital and not wanting to like maybe be there or show up the way that she wanted you to? Or maybe not knowing how to show up for somebody that way?
So I think it's like a bunch of things that play a part. I think subconsciously it was when she told me she was pregnant, it was just like we just started to get like life going with our 3, and it kind of threw me off, bro. It threw me off because I didn't see it. I didn't see it in the cards that was dealt. So it was me trying to find an understanding in myself and trying to muscle up the courage to be somebody else's dad, because I was already a dad to 3 other people. And it was just like, oh, like this is going to be rough. And I don't want to say a part of me had like resentment almost in a sense, but it was just like
There was resistance.
yeah. And there probably shouldn't have been. I'm a grown adult. I know what we're doing. I know that if you're not taking birth control, there's there's a chance that this can happen. But I don't think I was ready. So I think that caused a lot of friction. We were beefing at the time. You know what I mean? It didn't seem like that's what should have been happening at that time. And I think that kind of threw us off for a little bit. And again, we were able to find that balance of why we love each other. And it goes back into forgiveness, because I know in some way, some shape, form, she had to dig deep to be able to forgive me. I don't ask her to forget because I know she can't, but I believe at this point she's forgiven me for not being who she thought I should be at that moment. And I feel like it was a fair expectation.
It's a humbling moment.
Absolutely.
when you got to look at yourself and say, hey, I didn't show up for the person I loved
Yeah.
the way I thought I could.
Tough pill to swallow, but you got to swallow it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just one of those moments where you feel like you're not a superhero as you thought you were.
Nah, you're not.
You're not. And it's like, you got to look in the mirror.
And I think it could be interesting too, because like, again, like on the surface level, you think you're showing up.
Yeah.
You think you're showing up.
Especially in the midst of it.
You're like, yo, I'm doing all this, and this, and this.
Don't mean shit if that other person don't feel like that.
And that's an interesting lesson. Like, I think that comes back to like the whole impact versus intent thing that we had an episode a while ago. And like your intentions, you thought you thought you were doing was right, but your impact did not land the same way.
Exactly.
And it's because you probably, I don't know, maybe, do you think that you weren't listening to her the way that you should have been?
Yeah, I was listening to her the way that I wanted to be listened to, not how she was how she needed me to listen to her. And I think that's a big part too in relationships is we hear stuff how we want to hear it and how we feel like we would show up, not how that person needs us to show up.
How have you changed that?
Now it's listening with intent.
Being aware.
It's not because I feel like you can hear something, but you also, I feel like there's a difference between listening and hearing.
Facts.
And I feel like when you listen, it's with intent. And I understand too. Another thing that I learned about myself is if you come to me with a problem or an issue, I'm always looking for a solution, bro.
But sometimes that's not what they need.
Bro,
Sometimes that's not what they need.
Bro, it took me years, and my wife taught me that. If you're gonna come, I feel like if you're coming to complain about something, you have to be looking for a solution. And my wife was like, I just want you to listen to me. I'm not looking for your solution. I'm like, well, what's the point of complaining then? Like, to complain is to try to find a solution. Like, wait, but I've realized some people don't want it, bro. They just want you to listen to them. I told my wife, hey, if that's what you want, please let me know ahead of time.
Do you change how you enter those conversations differently?
Yeah. So I asked, make me aware that you're not looking for a solution.
Beautiful.
Please tell me, hey, I just need you to listen. All right, bet. I'm here. Talk to me. But in my mind, my shit is still like looking for solutions, but I don't give it anymore because I know that's not what they're looking for. And I think that has helped too with my kids. Like sometimes they just need somebody to listen to. They don't always need solution. My daughter tells me that, my youngest, me and her are so much alike. That's my twin, bro. She's just a prettier version. Like, but she's my twin. And she'll be like ranting something, and I'll just be like throwing out ideas. And she'll be like, Dad, I don't need it. I'm not looking for the answer. All right, cool. No more. And just listen to her. Let her get it out. And then, I think she feels better now. Same, because I'm able to take that from my wife once she says it to put that in place with her. So now I'm just listening to them.
Have you reflected that about yourself? Like, have you thought about, maybe sometimes I just need somebody to listen?
No.
So you always want solutions?
Yeah. Every time. I'm not going to complain about something I don't want a solution to. There's no point in complaining, at least to me.
Yeah, I think some people just need to just get it off of their shoulders. Yeah, and sometimes, sure. For me, just like you, it's been super beneficial. Like when somebody comes to me and I'm like, hey, like, what do you need from me right now? Do you just want me to listen or do you need feedback?
Yeah.
And I feel like that right there, that creates safety too.
Absolutely.
That creates safety in the relationship or in that conversation. But like, again, it's interesting how those practices roll over into life, right? Think about it. You just said not only do it with your wife, but you do it with your kids.
Yeah.
Think about if you did it. I do it with my boys. They're like, wait, what? I'm like, hey, bro, we doing it right over here.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I think there's definitely beauty in that. I'm still on the fence with it when it comes to certain stuff about not looking for a solution and just being able to talk. Like, people always ask me, who do you talk to when you need somebody to talk to, like in a therapist sense? Like, our barbers. Like, I feel like barbers should have therapist degrees, bro.
Man, a lot of them should.
They should, bro. Especially if you've been tapped in with your barber. Like, they tell you stuff about their life that they probably wouldn't tell the normal person on the street.
Right.
And you, like, just off of conversations, there's been plenty of times where it hasn't even got deep. It was just surface level stuff. And I left the barbershop like, yeah, that was good. Like, I
That
needed
hit.
that.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? But my barber's the same thing. Like, if I'm complaining about anything, there's going to be a solution there. Well, you should try. It's not just like, I don't just talk just to talk. Like,
Yeah, but also, but like, I don't know, man. I think maybe there's going to be a solution, right? But maybe the solution doesn't need to be formed right there in that moment.
absolutely. And I
You know what I
learned
mean?
that too. Like, that solution does not, especially when you're talking with people that just want you to listen, even to the point where y'all just have the discussion, you talk about it, and then later, a day later, 2 days later, they like, hey, remember that conversation that we had, blah, blah, blah. What would you do? Oh, okay. And not be like, I could have gave it to you right then and there. It's not that. Like, they felt comfortable enough for them to talk to you then. They thought about it and then be like, yo, what would you have done? And then that's when it's needed.
Yeah, it's just about creating the space for in the timing, man. That's all. That's all it is. What do you think? What's something that you hope your kids learn from watching you?
Um, to never stop chasing your dream. I hope that they understand that they can still live their life, still provide, and still want everything that they want in life that they seen for themselves to make it happen. And um, to be able to create something that's bigger than themselves before they leave this earth. I hope all four of my kids become something great. And even if it's not the biggest thing, it could be the smallest thing, but they make a small change in this world before they leave it. Leave it better than what they before they got here.
Mm.
And I hope that they really, really know that anything that's they want to achieve, they can. Um, the power of the mind. I want them to see, yo, my dad talked about this and then he did it. My dad said this was going to happen and he went and did it. And it's almost magic to them of how things happen. But I feel like speaking stuff into fruition. Um, I'm a firm believer in teaching my kids how powerful their mind really is. And I hope that they take that and use it in life, and pass it on to their kids.
Yeah, man. I'm glad that you teach them that, and I know you're somebody that does it the right way for your kids, just based off of conversation we had, like empathy and how to respond versus react. Like,
Mhm.
these are the conversations that I have with my friends now who have kids. I'm like, yo, you have the ability to teach your kids the things that you and I are talking about, so they don't have to learn it later in
Yeah,
life, how to be with their feelings, how to understand their feelings, how to respond, how to think and do it all in a healthy way. That's honestly, like, y'all are laying the groundwork to change the world later on. Right now, all parents are doing that. We can do it as human beings, human to human, practice kindness and all that stuff, but
yeah,
like, y'all are the ones that are teaching the foundation now to build it up differently so it can be different in the future.
for sure. I think I'm very honest with my kids about life in general. I don't want them to get out in this world and somebody else have to teach them something that I could have easily taught them, and they have to learn through somebody else's mistakes. Whether they listen to me or not, that's up to them. I can only lead them to the water, but I'm always going to lead them to the water, regardless. Forever, even when I'm gone, I'm still going to lead them to the water. Um, and I think that's the most important thing that I can teach them, um, my gift while I'm here.
do you, as a parent, do you feel like giving them the answers is always the best, or do you feel like helping them formulate their answers on their own?
Both. I think it just depends on what it is. Like they have to go through certain things that even if I tell them, they they can't find out unless they go through it. They got to learn those lessons that's taught in it, whether me just telling them. So I think it's a give or take.
Yeah, I think that as a leader, there's a balance there, right? Of like giving you the answer every time, so they're always relying on you, as opposed to teaching them how to form the answer on their own, so they don't have to be reliant on you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's an art in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's transition to the hard part in the show, and that's the moment where, you know, you had a moment where something got heavy, back was against the wall. You felt like you had no way out.
Yeah.
Can you share a time with us in your life where you felt like you ran out of wiggle room?
Wiggle room. I think there's been 2 moments that I kind of felt like my back was against the wall, and it was deaths. The death of my best friend Serrano when he passed, and then the death of my grandmother when she passed. I feel like those were kind of moments where I was just left with no purpose. Even like with my best friend, it was kind of like we kind of planned everything together. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. And like we planned to go to the military together.
Oh wow.
Out running around, selling weed and shit. And it was just like, yo, there's only a amount of time before we're gonna get in trouble. Like we gotta figure something out. And he was just like, yo, let's go to the military. He's like, we can do this, we can get bonuses, we can go travel. And I was just like, all right, bet. Let's do it. And then we were gonna do like the buddy system. So you can go in there with your homeboy, y'all stay together, y'all bounce around together. We went to go take the MEPS test. Or ASVAB test. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
We went and took the ASVAB test, and he passed it first time. I failed it. Terrible. Like, all right. So we just like, all right, we go on. You can take it again. But I think soon as he passed his, bro, he was out. Like it was like literally like 4 weeks. And when you take the ASVAB, you have to wait like a 30-day waiting period before you can take it again. So I was like, cool, I'll just take it again. They were like, he could take it, he can dip, you can catch up with him in basic training. Though this is kind of how they were telling us. I was like, all right, cool. Took the test again, failed that bitch again. I was like, all right, bet. My wife ended up pregnant at the time. And I'm like,
What's your first
one.
Okay.
So I'm like, do I it was just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna go to basic training. I'm gonna leave her. I should be able to get back before before she gets the baby. I'm like, all right, bet. So 3rd time taking the test, went to go take it, took it, passed the test, but they failed me because I took it on the 29th day instead of the 30th.
Jesus.
So Serrano's already gone, bro. He left. So I used to always feel like I let my homeboy down. Like we planned this together. So there used to always be, bro, it's like it used to bother me real bad. You know what I mean? And I'd just be like, fuck, man, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. So then he gets out, he finishes basic training. And then so I'm like, let me go take these courses, like tutoring classes. I'm like, I'm gonna tutor because I'm still gonna do it. Took tutoring classes, blah blah blah. I'm like, all right, bet, let's go. So he's just like, yo, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take you up to Phoenix. You're gonna go to MEPS. You'll take your ASVAB test. You'll go to MEPS, and then you'll be able to ship out. We'll knock it all out once. So the recruiter drove me to Phoenix. We went up there. I passed the ASVAB test and I failed the drug test.
Damn, I ain't supposed to be doing this.
So, bro, I had to sit with myself with that.
Because that was hard. Because you, at that time and point, you're like, "This is my goal. This is what I'll focus on. This is what I'm going to do."
This is it. There was no more. I didn't have anything. I'm staying at my mom's house. I'm out of school. I'm not doing nothing. I'm running around bullshitting. So that was it. And I had to sit with myself, bro. And I was like, I got depressed a lot about it. You know, I felt like I let my homeboy down. And fast forward, he gets done and he never mentions it. He never brings it up. Every time he called me, I'd be like, yo, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying, all right, cool, bet. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And he never brought it up. And then one day he had said something to me about it. So he gets, what does he do? Does he come down here? No, he doesn't come down here. So while he's in there, he gets in trouble. Like they selling oil. He goes to Afghanistan. He's selling oil, all type of stuff. He get dude ratted on him. He gets a year locked. He's locked up. So and he's like, yo, when I get home, I'm gonna move to Chicago. I'm a what does he say? I'm gonna come home for a little bit and then I'm gonna move to Chicago. I'm like, yo, what you moving home for? Like, let's come when you come back, let's do it. Blah blah blah. He's like, nah, I'm gonna just take some weed up there. And I'm like, all right, bet. And he's like, yo, can you do me a favor? I'm like, what? He's like, I'm gonna need you to help me when I come home. So my wife is already pregnant with my second daughter already. She's probably about 7-8 months. He's like, I need you to help me drive my car because he's driving everything. He's like, we'll pack speakers with some weed. We're going to go. I was like, all right, bet. So he comes home. I feel like this is my redemption shot. Like it's a roll of the dice.
I passed. This is going to be how I make it up to you.
This is how I make it up to you. And when he came home, he had brought it up. Like, yeah, nigga, you left me like out here by myself. And I was like, you know, I had to apologize. Like, yo, my bad, man. It just wasn't meant for me to go. Like, that's how I had to take that situation. That wasn't how God laid it out for me. I wasn't supposed to go there, bro. And he was like he understood it. But I was like, you know, I'm definitely down to help you. Even in a sense, bro, like my wife was about to have my daughter and we were driving up Friday. I think I was flying back Monday and I think my wife had the baby Thursday or Friday. Like my wife was pissed at me, bro.
I'm sure.
And I can't blame her. But I'm like, what?
This is that I owe.
Yeah. And I have to pay this. Mm-hmm. Like, if I don't do this, like, it's almost like, why are we even friends? Or why are you my brother? Like, I can't count on you for shit.
Right.
And I never wanted to be seen in that light. So, and, you know, that's one of those moments where I felt like, bro, we literally had a police officer follow us through Kansas. And my homeboy like, yeah, let's pull over to Dairy Queen and get some ice cream. What? Bro, like this state trooper is behind us. He's like, yeah, we're going to get some ice cream. Bro, the state trooper literally followed us out of Kansas, like passing the next state, and then he drove off. And bro, I'm like, I'm shitting bricks, bro. Like, if we get caught, we going away. Like,
and my wife's about
and
to
my
have
wife,
my kid.
Yeah. And you know, that was a tough one for me. You know, I had to, again, man, that's like, my wife had, I had to take that one on the chin. And it was like,
and you think about it, you're probably like, do you think about it now? Do you feel like you were selfish in that moment?
Yeah, absolutely. But I felt like I needed to be selfish. And I feel like sometimes in life we be selfish of things that we feel like is important to us and it might not be important to everybody else. But when it came to like my integrity, I felt like that was almost that question of who I was as a man when it came to somebody I called my brother.
Yeah, you wanted to honor your word.
Absolutely, because I had already let it down. And it was just like, I can't do it to you twice, bro. Like, I refuse to. And so he did that year. He came back. He got a job working down here, and then he gets into a car accident on his way to work, and he passes away. So in the meantime, as he's in Chicago, we're talking about doing all type of stuff. We trying to get. I'm ordering red monkey jeans, and we want to sell them. Evisus, like we're trying to get a shoe business. We trying to do all this stuff, and it was like, yo, this is what we'll do for this time. I'm getting serious in the rap. So he's like, yo, let's go to Albuquerque. They having a talent show. Let's burn some CDs. He's the one that put the battery in my back when it came to rap. He was like, yo, let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. And I was like, all right, bet. So when he comes back, and he passes away, bro, it was just like,
Fuck.
like, what do I do? I'm literally by myself. Which way do I go? And I credit my wife, bro. She was there. She's the one that kept me afloat. For sure, for sure. Because I was a wreck, bro. I was a mess. Yeah. It was bad.
I'm sure. I mean, you was attached to everything,
Absolutely.
and when you attached to that, and you lose it,
Yeah.
you don't know what to do, where to go, how to do anything. Basically, what do you think that taught you about yourself?
Uh, I think just having more trust in myself of
Mm,
my direction in life. It's like I understood that there was something else. And I remember right before he passed away, man, it was like maybe 3 days, 4 days before he passed away. I think we went out and he dropped me off and he was like, yo, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing in this life. I was like, what you mean? He's like, I feel like I don't have a purpose here. Like, what? What do you mean? Like, I started naming all. Like, bro, like you came back, you help your mom, your dad, you push at me. He's like, nah, I don't feel like I'm supposed to be here. I like, man, you was tripping. Like you drinking that 40 through that straw got your ass tripping, bro. And he
yeah,
was just like, nah, man. And he was like, but he's like, just think, man. He's like, look at you, bro. Like you got your family, you got this music. He said, I know this music's gonna work for you, bro. And I was like, yeah, but I need you, my man's like, I need you here. Like, and he's like, nah. And I remember just walking in the house, bro, like, what is he talking about? And then a couple of days he passed away. So it was like he almost knew, like, I'm out of here.
that's
And
crazy.
that used to mess me up because I'm like, yo, like he's literally like, I wish I would have told him to call off that day, like don't go to work,
Yeah,
and you know what I mean, just certain stuff. And I had to sit with that for years, bro, for years. Even after I thought I was okay, like it still would bother me. It still would
yeah, man. Grief,
grief.
grief,
Oh
grief is
yeah,
one of the hardest things to be with. But it gave you something beautiful, like you said. You learned how to trust yourself.
yeah. And then I understood like I had a bigger purpose than what I was thinking. Like it made me think a little bit bigger than um, it helped me understand what he was talking about of like trying to really like hone in on this music because I didn't have anything else. The only thing I did have was, excuse me, my family and then my studio. And it was just like, all right, let's dive into this. And that's when I just got serious about music too.
It's crazy because I think when you're in these like these no wiggle room moments, I think you feel like pigeonholed almost.
Yeah.
And then once you're able to get out, you're able to see things like this
Yeah.
bigger. It's like you get your peripheral.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and it changes everything.
And yeah, man, it does. And there was another moment like when I told you teetering between like the streets and there was a moment, you know, I had some people come knock at my door and I realized, oh yeah, that's not me. I
Mm,
don't need this. This is absolutely not. But being a responsible person on the back end is what saved me from what could have been. And at that time, bro, it was doing everything. I mean, selling stuff, counterfeit. It was bad. And I realized how that could have changed my life and also altered my kids' life, my wife's life. And I would have put this burden on them that they didn't deserve because of selfish moments.
it's crazy how life gave you that lesson, and you learned quick, boy.
Whew.
Because if you didn't, what do
Yeah.
you think would have happened?
Oh, it'd have been bad, bro. Like it was only a matter of time for sure. Like, you know, that game is not uh it's not meant for you to win. You know what I mean? You might win in the moment, but the long run,
Nobody does.
nobody does. Nobody, you know. Some of the greatest men that I know are locked up right now doing time, and I wish they would have been able to make different decisions, but they were doing what they knew and what they felt like they were supposed to do. Um, and you know, I knew it wasn't for me, and it doesn't. What do they say? A smart man learns from his failures, but a wise man learns from other people's failures. And I learn from other people, just watching people around me and being like, I don't want that. So I know I can't play that game. Like, why would it be fair for me to play and it's not fair for them? Like, it doesn't make sense. So I was just like, let's do this family life.
Yeah, this feels a little bit more safe, a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
less
You know, I
risky.
like waking up to
It's a
my
little it's a little
kids
more boring.
for
Well,
sure, but
maybe
I'm
not,
cool
but
with
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Like sometimes boring is a
That's those
good thing.
moments of sitting with yourself. Like, I'm cool, bro. Like, I'm all right living a square life, bro. Like,
Yeah,
you know, that's nothing wrong with it. I always tell people, don't people be mad because of you know, they don't want people to know they work a 9 to 5. Go do that 9 to 5, bro. My 9 to 5 has allowed me to be able to do a lot of stuff in life, bro. And I'll never hone away from it. Like, if you're not on this music, don't pay like that, you know. And you know, it's cool to look like a rapper, you know what I mean. But I've seen people who try to look like rappers and it never works out for them because they want to make it seem like there's something that they're not. And I've always been cool with being who I am.
yeah, and it shows, man. It
Yeah.
shows. If there's one piece of wisdom that you could give to us about like your life or your work that you would want people to remember, what would it be?
I did it my way.
Mm,
Um, I feel like understanding who you are early, I shouldn't even say early, understanding who you are is never, it's never too late to understand who you truly are as a person. It's never too late to try to chase something that you feel is going to give you a greater purpose in life. I think, um, yeah, I don't have the blueprint to this thing they call life. I just have the lessons from it, and I try to spread that throughout my music. I try to spread it into my everyday life. I try to, um, I don't know, man. This life thing is tricky, bro.
it is.
It is very tricky. I think back to your wiggle room question. There was another moment, my grandmother passing, that threw me for a loop. Like, we know when our elders get older that they're gonna pass away. But to us, they're superheroes. There's no way they'll ever leave this earth. And when my grandma left, it was kind of, I don't I don't want to say not expected, but it was kind of not expected because of how fast it happened. Um, and you know, me and my grandmother had a super tight bond because her son was taken from her, locked up for 20 plus years when I was born. So I feel like I played a role as her son because he wasn't there. And just like her love and just the conversations that she would have with me really molded me into the person that I am. Her words, just like little stuff. Like I told you, I feel like I have this gift that she has. If my grandma didn't like you, she did not like you. But there was a reason why, like, and she would be able to explain it. And it didn't take her long to figure it out. It'd be a conversation. And she'd be like, I don't like him. And be like, why? And she would give you a reason. And I kid you not, every time it seemed like it was just right on. Accuracy was so good. Like, God, Granny, like, where you get that from? And just watching her and understanding that. So when she passed away, bro, like, I really feel like a piece of me was gone. And I remember sitting on her bed um, when she was like maybe fourth or fifth day before she passed. And I remember fucking bawling, bro, crying. And I remember her like looking at me and like looking at me like, why are you crying? Like, I'm finna go somewhere where it's cracking at. Like, I'm in a better spot. And my grandmother, since I've known her, she's always been in pain. Like, she's always had back pain. She had like a botched surgery out here where like they messed up her back, and no doctor in Tucson would touch her back after that. So she was just in pain meds all the time. So that look on her face was a sigh, like almost a relief. Like, I don't have to be in pain no more. And when she passed away, bro, it's crazy. I was thinking about this a couple days ago. We had her, we kind of had like her, is it a funeral in a sense? This was during COVID. So it wasn't like,
Memorial.
yeah, so it was like a memorial. We had it at the park. And instead of me just being in the moment of it, like, I was taking pictures of everybody. Cause I couldn't fathom sitting there just thinking about it.
Just being with it.
I couldn't, bro. There's no way. There's no way I would have ate that up. Like, so I was like, I'm gonna just take pictures. And I remember that, like, what that did for me. Like, I've already loved taking pictures already, but that let me know how much more I like to take pictures too, and what it did, and just seeing the different people around me at that time. And I was just like, damn, imagine if I wouldn't have taken those pictures. Like, I think I would be fucked up to today if I really would have sat in that moment. Like, a part of me almost still haven't like grieved from it.
Why do you think you would have been fucked up in that moment?
Just thinking about it. Like, I'm still waiting for my grandma to call me.
So you haven't accepted it?
Yes and no. Man of the house helped me accept it, but there's still a part of me that just hasn't fully been like, she's gone, because I always feel like she's still around me. And I don't know if that's like those angels, or I just feel like her exit, I don't know. It felt different. Like, it didn't feel real.
Do you think part of you wants to avoid feeling that she's gone?
Probably. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's interesting, man. Like, it's almost like you're like you're delaying grieving. I kind of dealt with that too, though. Like, when my dad passed away, like, I don't think I like cried for like 4 months. And I had like a similar situation with him sitting at his deathbed. And I remember it was like New Year's Eve. I'm getting ready to go out.
Yeah.
He like, yo, pull up. And I pulled up on him, and like I sat next to his bed, and he was like, hey, like, I told him to take me off of everything. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm good to go. He was like, I just want you to know. He's like, I lived a beautiful life. And I was like, okay. Like, that kind of acceptance of like being ready to go is crazy when you hear it from somebody, almost like how you said your grandma was like, yo, like,
yeah, I'm good.
Why are you crying? Like, I'm good. Like,
But I feel like that helped though. Like that, I feel like that was the acceptance.
It helped. Yeah, it does help you accept it. But then you also have to process it after, because like, I don't think I really processed my dad's death until I remember one day it was like, I think I was just sitting outside and it just hit me, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, damn, okay, finally, here it comes. You know, it had it, and it never came until way later. So I can kind of relate to that. And I don't want to say like you're intentionally putting it off, because I don't think you are.
It's weird. Like, I talked to my sister about it, and she's kind of like the same way. Like we've accepted it, but it's still, I guess it just doesn't feel real. It's like, I'm still waiting for her to call me and be like, yo, I need a pop. Can you go get me some cookies? Like, I'm literally waiting. And I remember, so on the Man in the House, on the first song, it's called In Due Time. And at the end of there, I took a snippet of one of their voicemails that she left. And it didn't like, when I put it on there, it was like, I guess because I was creating art, it really didn't bother me. I didn't hear it in its entirety. But I played it for my sister one day. Like, when we went to LA, I was like, yo, I need you to hear this song. No, did I? Yeah. I said, I need you to listen to the song. I didn't have my grandma's vocals on there at that time, but I played her the song. And she's like, this, bro, it's probably like 10:50 in the morning, and she's tearing up. And she was like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, because if I had told you, it wouldn't have had the same reaction. But I realized I had that reaction to it. And that, when I want to say that song, In Due Time, was probably like the first song that I was able to create emotion out of a song. like a true, real, genuine emotion from not even Cash Lansky, from Dominant in a song. And when I added my grandma's vocal on there, we did a listening party at Mellow. And bro, it played over those speakers. Oh, I was a fucking mess, bro. And that was like the first time that I was like, just let it all out in front of everybody. And I was like, damn, man, I told myself I wasn't finna cry in this bitch, but everybody was like, that's real. And but that felt like a healing moment for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
I think crying is like there's healing about that, man.
There is, like, it's funny, if you ask my kids how many times they see me cry, they'll probably tell you maybe twice in their lives, 3 times maybe. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because when they cry, like, I let them cry. Like, when we were trying to cry as a kid, you wasn't allowed to shut your ass up. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it was like it wasn't allowed. So I kind of grew up like that. But now, hey, cry. It's okay. Let that shit out. Like you said, it's definitely, bro. I cried in a room full of 30, 40 people. Some I knew, some I didn't. But it was a moment, and it was needed, bro. It was definitely needed. But even then, like I said, I still don't feel like it's real that she's gone.
Yeah, it's just because it's that superhero mentality, man. And I think we don't ever think our superheroes can go.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, man, this has been dope. I appreciate you. I appreciate you sitting down.
For sure, man. You was worried, man.
Nah, man, this has been good. I know before we stepped in here, you said you was working on some stuff. Do you want to talk about that, or?
Yeah, I mean, we'll leave the music for the music, man. I think this was a more intimate space, and we don't have to talk about music on here. It's good. Y'all can find me at Cash Lansky wherever, but I appreciate you having me on your platform. And I think it's super dope what you're doing, bro. Like, keep going. I think this will help a lot of people in the long run.
Thanks, bro.
For sure.
I appreciate you saying that. Well, if you're listening today, we appreciate you. Cash said a lot of stuff, man, that resonates with me. I hope it resonates with you. He's been listening to himself as a youngin, which I think is important, because you can learn a lot of stuff about yourself if you pay attention, and it changes how you respond. And I also think if you're feeling stuck, you're not truly stuck. That's probably just life asking you to grow. So pay attention, listen to that. And if you feel like this will hit for somebody, share it, like, subscribe. We'll see y'all soon.